Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So the first thing that we're going to do is to take some questions from the comment section from last week, and then we're gonna get right into it. So let's get right into it. So this week we are gonna talk about schooling in Jamaica. So the very first school I went to in Jamaica is a basic school. Yes, I went to a basic school. It was made a basic school. I wore a red plaid dress to school. It was a uniform. I think it was black shoes. I don't really remember. But the only thing that stands out from that experience was the bread truck, because the school was a good distance away from the house and I'd have to take a taxi, and I couldn't get the taxi was late, or I don't remember what happened with the taxi, but the bread truck was passing the gate and my mommy was inside getting something and I was out by the gate. I stopped the bread truck and tell the man, say, me need a ride for go to school. So the man take me up into the bread truck and me ride with him, and him stop at the shops and sell him bread, and then him carry me go to school. So from that day, the bread truck man keeps stopping for me and carry me go to school. Now, my aunt had a shop and she used to buy bread from that bread truck. That's how me know the man. Me don't even remember what the man name. Now, since me a big woman, me in the hairdresser shop, I get my hair done. And this man walk up at the door and him see me. And him cuss a bad word and him say, Yannick? And me say, yes. Because me annoyed. Me I say, oh, this man, like, him look like me know him, but, like, me can't really put it together. So anyway, long and short is, the man has not seen me since him used to carry me upon the bread truck. And him stopped work for the bread company, because obviously years ago. And yeah, him still remember my face. Him still remember the little girl who used to stop him to get riding at the bread truck for that school. So yeah, that's my most fond memory from basic school. After I left basic school, now I went to the Abuka All Age School. Now, if you are from Abuka, you're from St. Anna, you went to Abuka All Age School, big up yourself. Fondest memories from Abuka All Age School, Mr. and Mrs. Clark. Anybody that went to Abuka All Age School, them know and love Mr. and Mrs. Clark. They were principal and grade 6 teacher. But trust me, it's like Abuka All Age School built on for them back, because once you say Mr. Clark, you say Buka School. Once you say Mrs. Clark, you say Buka School. When they retired, I was in high school at the time, and I was called to come and represent my batch, because me a bright girl at school. So them called me to come and represent my batch of students with a speech. Their send-off retirement service was like a funeral. Like, the whole community felt it when they left. And to this day, Mr. Clark, I'm my next father, and if him see my mommy, him gonna ask me if I'm good, if everything alright. Like, just general checking for make sure say all I'm putting them good. And yeah, me and Mr. Clark favorite. Me I tell everybody. So it's like a competition with us past students. Say, oh, him prefer me. Me and Mr. Clark favorite. Marbles was another thing. Yes, I used to play marbles. I used to be on the field with the boys playing marbles, and me used to win their marbles too. The thing though, I was a clean marble player. So Mr. Clark used to check your pockets for know if you did a play marble. My pocket always clean, because me have one bag and me put my marble in my bag. The boy them know just play them marbles, push them marble in them pocket, and then them pocket dirty. So them always get in trouble for it, not me. In all age school, I also participated on the quiz team. So we went to Runaway Bay and we played quiz competitions against other all age schools in the area. And of course, Abuka All Age School was very good. We were a good quiz team. Always coming first in attendance, first place in class, except in 5th grade where I was second place in class. No comment. But yeah, first place in class, first place in attendance. Another thing that I can remember from Abuka All Age School is learning to cornrow in the grass. So we used to plait grass. The girls would sit in the grass, and the grass grew up so tall, and we sit down and we plait it. So yeah, that was a fun memory as well. Another thing, Mr. Clark beat me 2 times. 2 dege time. One time, my mommy came to the school, so my mommy wanted to see him. So naturally, my mommy come to the school, everybody like, oh, your mother outside. I go outside to my mother, she said, may I look for your principal. I walk her to the principal, turn my back for go on my class. Mr. Clark just slapped me around my back for no reason, just one slap. I'm like, of course, I couldn't say nothing, I couldn't do nothing. I just have a text slap and go in a class. And then another time him slap me, and it's because him say, when last you get a beating or something like that, and then whom? I'm like, sir, like, me never do nothing, like, why you beat me? But yeah, those are my memories from Abuka All Age School. After I left Abuka All Age School, I graduated in grade 6 and I went to St. Hilda's Diocesan High School. Now, St. Hilda's is an all-girls high school located in Brownstown, St. Anne. We were lavender and plaid blouses. Yeah. So I spent 5 years at St. Hilda's. My principal at the time was Mrs. Heather Reed Johnson. I'm not sure if, well, yeah, she's still the principal there. So Mrs. Heather Reed Johnson was my principal. My favorite teachers at St. Hilda's, should I say this? Yes, I can say this. Mrs. Clementson Lambert, she was Miss Clementson. And Mrs. McLean was also one of my favorite teachers, and also Mrs. Wickham. Mrs. Wickham was math. Mrs. Clementson Lambert was agriculture, and Mrs. McLean was my bio teacher. These ladies really played a vital role in my life. Like, they did so much for me. I'm not sure if they know to this day, but I'm very appreciative of what they have done. Miss Clementson, she loved me dearly. I'm sure of that. And I got in trouble once, and I wasn't worried about the punishment. I was worried about disappointing Miss Clementson. I don't know if she remember, but I was eating chips in the classroom. I think it was at lunch, but you're not supposed to eat in the classroom. You're supposed to go to the cafeteria. But I was eating chips in the classroom. And she walked in, and she saw me, and she walked out. She's like, I don't think I'm seeing right. Let me go back outside. She walked out. Of course, when she came back in, the chips was gone. And the guilt was there, and she was not talking to me. She did not talk to me for about a week. And I was worried, because I was like, Mrs. Clementson is upset with me, and I need to fix this, and I don't know how to fix this, and I need her to talk to me. And it was so bad, because that's how much I respect and love that lady. There were a lot of rules at St. Hilda's. Some rules to this day, I'm not sure if I agree with. For example, the guinep rule. We're not supposed to eat guineps in our uniform. I'm not sure if that's still a rule. But to this day, I don't eat guineps. I just don't. Because if I have to wait until I go home to eat guineps, like, why bother? I think the significance of the rule was self-control, or I guess so that we don't stain our uniforms. I really don't know. But like I said, to this day, I don't eat guineps. Another rule that has stuck with me is the fact that we have to sit properly. They try to groom us to be ladies, and so it becomes a part of you. So there are some rules that are good per se, and there are some that I'm not even sure why they existed. My first boyfriend I got when I was in 5th form, and he was a YC boy. He was in he was a YC boy. He was in 5th form at YC, and it was a thing where a St. Hilda's girl and a YC boy. Did we end up staying together? No, it was a silly schoolgirl relationship. It ended for no good reason. I don't even remember why it ended, But yeah, big up yourself, my YC boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. Yeah. When I graduated St. Hilda's, I left with 8 CXC subjects, and then I went on to Brownstown Community College, where I did the science program. So I did my CAPES in science. Yeah. When I went to COMC, I also did CXC physics. I initially signed up to do the CXC physics class. I was supposed to do after school classes for physics, because at St. Hilda's, in my time, you were allowed to do 8 subjects. A lot of stuff were mandatory. So English literature was a mandated subject, English language, math, you had to do a science, you had to do Spanish, that was mandatory as well. So after adding all the subjects that I had to do, I only had space for like 3. So I chose chemistry, biology, and then I did food and nutrition. So because of that, I didn't have any space to accommodate the physics. So I decided that when I went to COMC, I would have done CXC physics at COMC. Doing the CXC physics at COMC, when I signed up initially, I was supposed to be taking the CXC classes, but I realized that it was the GCE classes that we were registered for. So I told the teacher, I'm not going to do GCE, I want to do CXC. I'm not sure if it matters much, but to me, I wanted CXC, I didn't want GCE. So what I did in that first year, I did the classes, but when we were supposed to pay for the exam and I realized that it was GCE, I didn't pay for that exam. So in my second year, with the notes that I would have gotten from the teacher, I spoke to the teacher. He allowed me to do some labs. So he would have given me the lab instructions. I did those on my own. Did my lab book, allowed him to look at my lab book and grade my labs, and then I went through the notes. And the additional stuff that would have been on the CXC syllabus, I did those on my own, and I was able to sit the CXC physics, and I passed it. I think I got a 2 on CXC physics. My favorite teacher in COMC was Miss West. Miss West was my biology teacher. I'm not sure if she's still there. I'm not sure where in this world she is, but Miss Shamar West, I think it's Shamar. Yeah, Miss West, S. West. She's amazing. She influences my life as a teacher. She is always asking for details. So if we're talking about the metabolism in the cell, she's going to say, okay, so where does this come from? And I'm like, it comes from the Golgi apparatus. And she's like, so where did it start? And I'm like, it started here. And she's like, so what caused that? Like, she's always asking for so much details. So she's made me a very good teacher. So now that I'm teaching my kids, I'm able to explain fully what I want them to get. And I think I do a good job at that. And I'm able to have conversations about the content with my kids. So I'm like, okay, so where is this coming from? So what is that? What starts the whole process? So why does this happen? And we're able to have full conversations. When we have conversations like this in my classroom, I realize that my kids are thinking. They're like, okay, so Miss is going to ask me this, so I need to figure it out. So it keeps them on their feet, it keeps them reading, and it keeps them thinking, so that we can have conversations about the content. And that's very good. So Miss West, I appreciate you for that. After leaving Brownstown Community College, I went to the University of the West Indies, where I did the Pure and Applied Sciences program. Initially, I had signed up for medicine. I did not get into med. I got into the Pure and Applied Science program, where I majored in biochemistry. From UE is a whole experience by itself. I think I need to talk about my university experience separately, because that is so much. I lived on Hall. I lived on the Mary C. Cole Hall. Hall life is a whole ball game. I used to be block rep for Crowd Block. So Crowd Block, big up on yourself. My most my teacher that stands out most at the University of the West Indies would have been Dr. Marvadine Singh Wilmot. She was my organic chemistry lecturer. She is amazing. After class done and time up, the other lecturers would have been rushing to another lecture or rushing about the business. Marvadine Singh Wilmot is gonna stay behind at IFLT, Interfaculty Lecture Theatre. She's gonna stay behind outside, and you're gonna go to her and ask her your questions, and she stand up out there and answer. I cannot forget, we had an exam coming up, and we didn't think we were ready for the exam, and we expressed that to her. And Marvadine Singh Wilmot was in the gardens at Pure and Applied Science, and she was standing on top of the lazy bench, and the kids were standing around her, and she was showing us the structures of something, but she was making them with the actual, what you call them, she was making the structure. So she had the circle that represented the carbon, and she attached a hydrogen to it. She attached stuff to it in her hand on top of the table in order for us to understand. So Dr. Marvadine Singh Wilmot, she even got an award for something in the sciences. She is amazing. So yeah, I love and I appreciate her, and she has also helped to shape me into being a good chemistry teacher, because I am a good chemistry teacher, and kudos to all the teachers that I've passed through over the years. Yeah, I think we're gonna stop there for today. That should wrap up schooling in Jamaica, or my schooling experience in Jamaica. Like I said, for my UE experience, I'm gonna have to talk about that a little different, because that's a whole lot of stuff that I want to talk about my UE experience. So yeah, that's it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Bye.